Welcome to Thriller Bitcoin. Welcome to Thriller Bitcoin.
Are we live?
Yeah, that's how we do it.
Okay. Shit.
Just ninja launch this stuff.
So, dude, I mean, today I just sent a $1 million wire transfer.
Really?
We had a really big donor come and give to OpenSats, and so
what?
Yeah, our MO is to not hold dollars, get that out of our hands as fast as possible, and so. Unfortunately, the price, price is still, I think, relatively low, but it ran up from 16 to 18. I swear to God, every time I do a trade from dollars to Bitcoin or Bitcoin to dollars, it's always the wrong one. Like I can never time
it. Yeah,
that would be the worst thing that ever happened to like a quant firm if I ever touched them. I don't know if I have bad karma or what, but yeah, we're getting that over to shout out to River for helping us out, waiving fees and stuff for OpenSats, and we'll be smash buying like $1 million today. So
what, dude? That's
wait. You want to front run us?
This is insane.
Get your money in now.
This is insane, dude. Okay, let's break this down.
Yeah.
How does can you tell us, like, how does something like that happen? Do people just reach out via the OpenSats website? And for people that don't know, what is OpenSats?
Okay, so OpenSats is a 501c3 nonprofit. It's been like given the stamp of approval by the IRS as a good charitable company. You can donate to OpenSats, pick from a variety of projects that apply to be listed. So we've got the Tor Foundation, we've got BTC Pay Server, Zeus Wallet. We've got about 20 projects now, Graphene OS, some really good ones, as well as like a few core maintainers. And we essentially just act as a platform that lets donors connect to either projects or people working on Bitcoin and free and open source software. So it's really just a charity that's focused on supporting contributors to free and open source software. There's a big free rider problem where everyone benefits and not that many people give. Although we have seen that pick up lately, and the one difference is, you could always donate straight to Evan Kalutis and Zeus. But if you send it through OpenSats, which we do have quite a few listed, then you actually get the federal tax write-off. So
wow.
Oftentimes, and I think that's what happened this year, is like at the end of every year, people are like, they don't want to pay their income or their federal taxes, and they're like, well, I want to give back to Bitcoin. If I send money directly to BTC Pay Server, that's great and everything, but you can't really write that off, or you have to kind of like jump through some hoops and justify it for the IRS. But because we're a 501c3, you give to us, and there's really like no questions asked. Everything is good to go. So,
dude, that's amazing. And then so the news today, like somebody actually came in and
I don't want to
say too much.
I don't want to spoil the thunder, so I won't. It it was a very large donation from a well-known person, and we'll announce that very soon. But yeah, I think, it's been nice to see. When I first started it a couple years ago, I reached out to Matt Odell and our board, which is great. We got a new board member coming on as well. And I wasn't quite sure like if the tax deduction would make a difference, or if people, would just give back directly and say like, screw it. I don't care about the 501c3 status. But since we've, kind of gone live and launched, we've had 2 donations over $1 million. And I believe,
2 donations over $1 million?
Yeah. And whoa. I think like our focus is actually on like kind of the long tail pleb style, like, I'll give $5 or 5,000 sats when I can, but seeing those like big donations come in, presumably because someone got a tax write-off, has been nice. I didn't know if we were putting in all the work to get 501c3 certified for no reason, but I think it was justified now, which is pretty cool.
That's
to see.
Huge, man.
Yeah.
And also we have the, I know Fountain. I know a lot of people donate via Fountain.
Yeah.
We give like 21% sats.
So we've seen a lot of people streaming to OpenSats as a node. I know I did a Kevin Rook pod the other day and kind of streamed our sats there. I think we're going to look into actually setting up Lightning addresses for each of our projects. So you can actually, right now you just stream to, generically to OpenSats, and that would go to like the general fund where we kind of give grants out from. But, let's say you really wanted to give to Graphene OS, or you really wanted to give to the Tor Foundation. What we could probably do is set up, Tor at opensats.org, and you could stream sats directly to them. It still would flow through OpenSats, but, we were starting to kind of get on the grind and do our payouts at the end of every month. And so, those will pass through. And the one thing with those like kind of streaming sats is I think most people probably do it anonymously, so you can't really get the tax write-off. But again, if you wanted to just come straight to the OpenSats website, you can always, you do have to enter your name if you want a tax deduction, but you can also do it anonymously, which is nice. And we have seen a ton of anonymous donations. We've got, it's crazy. You can actually go on the site and check out how much each project has raised, but, yeah, it's wild.
It's wild, man.
I never thought I would start a charity. The one thing the reason I really did it is because I was at Visa on their crypto team, and they were kind of forcing me to research CBDCs and, shit coins like Solana and all this stuff. And I was like, I just want to do Bitcoin stuff. And so I started this up. And then secondarily, I was a little frustrated with the fact that, there are some really good Bitcoin charities or Bitcoin focused charities, like HRF has a Bitcoin fund. Brink has a kind of like a education / like developer focused fund. And you can get tax write-offs by donating to them, but it's a little bit of a black box. You don't know who or how they're going to allocate to, but credit where credit's due. Gladstein in particular has done a fantastic job picking and choosing like high impact projects.
Right, yeah.
But there's 2 things. Is like, one is like, maybe I just really want to give to Zeus because I use Zeus and I want Zeus to have the money.
Right.
But I still want a tax write-off. So like with OpenSats, we like kind of vet all of the projects and make sure they're doing what they're saying. And then we list those specific projects. So if you know who you want to give to, you can give directly to them, which is really, really nice. And something that I don't think anyone else offers. But the big thing is we're 100% pass through. So almost, I don't know, maybe there are some charities, but almost every charity I've seen has
skims off the top a little bit, right?
Yeah, you don't want to call it skimming. Like there are operational costs. Like OpenSats has been lucky enough to have a few operational funders. We're broke as hell, but we have to pay legal fees. We have to pay end of year accounting fees. We got to pay QuickBooks fees, like email provider fees, and that stuff does add up, particularly legal and accounting. And then if we want to continue to improve our website, we either need to kind of like contract out, front and back end developers, or hope that someone just donates their time and gives to us, which we've actually had some. But the thing that really upset me was, I think like on the low side, people take maybe 5%. So of that $1 million donation we just got, typically like the best kind of overhead level charity would take $50,000, and that would be their operational funding. But most charities, it's I think like 10%. Wow. I know that if it's more of like a if it's part of like a university, sometimes I've heard that those get up to like 30 to 40% overhead. So, like you want to donate $1 million to Project X and it ends up, only 600K goes there. That's an issue. So
Yeah.
OpenSats is entirely 100% pass through. Everything you give goes fully through to the project. And that means we kind of have to do a little bit of private fundraising for our operational side of things, but we're super lean. Our entire board works for free. We've got Harper, who's been helping us on the management side, who's been donating a lot of his time. So hopefully once we get this down and start getting some payouts flowing through, some people see the value in a fully like kind of transparent charity, and maybe they'll give back a little bit to keep us running. But
I'm so proud of you, man. Just like you pushing that forward, and like just people that are listening, like I know Ben for almost going a year and a half, almost 2 years at this point. You're a very ethical man. So I feel like everybody that you picked on that board is very ethical, at least as far as I know them. Right.
I'm really excited. We've got, we've been kind of quiet for the last quarter because we're moving over from we started as just like a North Carolina charity nonprofit. And that was because that was where I was like living at the time. And that's where the legal firm that helped set it up was. But it's kind of irrelevant. Like until you get that federal status, that 501c3 status, the state level doesn't matter much. But we have a board member. We actually have a couple board members who are very privacy focused, including one that we're about to announce who's newly joining. And they didn't want to put, their name, their like real name on, all the charitable docs. And so we had to do and this is where the operational costs come in. We had to do a bunch of research into where a charitable organization can be incorporated and have like a non-human entity. So that this board member wants us to appoint like an LLC, a private Wyoming LLC as the board member. And then he would essentially act as like a voting proxy, but it would keep all of, his names off of things. And I don't even know their name actually. But to do that, North Carolina doesn't allow it under their nonprofit law. So we actually have to switch over to Texas, which we found does allow for corporations to be on a nonprofit board. So we're doing that right now, and we'll announce that new board members soon. We'll announce a bunch of new projects. We just voted on about 10 new projects, including like Tor and Graphene and a few others to be listed. Nice. Seed Signer, another good one. And then we'll announce this big grant pretty soon, which is exciting.
Dude, that's epic, man. I'm just like amazed of how you're able. You do this time and time again. Like this is not. For anybody that doesn't know Ben, like you're one of those guys behind the scenes that brings people together, man. Like you do that just naturally. It's just your natural God-given gift. Like, but that's the thing. Let me just wax poetic about you for a second. That's the thing that most people don't know about Price is like you do that, man, and then everybody wants to rally behind you and help you, fulfill this mission. And like I know you have a great heart, and your heart's in the right place for all the stuff that you do. So it's just really cool to see it kind of really come to life, right? This mission of delivering sats to open source developers.
You can make me cry, bro. Yeah, I appreciate it. I think like one of the reasons I don't know, I found Bitcoin after I like kind of lost faith in the world and didn't know what to work on that could actually help other people. Cause you see a lot of people out here with a profit motive, and there's this magic tool that dropped into our lap to like actually help the whole world and actually like level the playing field. And I can't imagine living like my life or, not working to further that. And so this is a part of it. TBC is a part of it, the Bitcoin company. But I think it's a bit to a detriment. We, the 100% pass through has been tough. Like we give, maximum rewards and things back for our for-profit company. But like, I appreciate the words, man. I don't know so much that I'm like a leader that people necessarily rally behind, but I think I have a couple good ideas that people like.
Yeah.
And on that note of, I've got something for you here.
What? What do you got? Is that a present?
It is a present.
Why'd you give me a present, dude? I don't need anything. I got everything here.
I got I was
Should I open it now?
Yeah, man. I was drinking coffee before this, and the lady was giving me crap for holding like a Christmas gift.
Really?
But
here, let me see. I'm opening up this box. It's very well wrapped gift from Ben.
I'll take a I'll take a pic. You can.
If this
you
is
can
like a
publish
Ted
it.
Lasso thing, I'm gonna be really, really perplexed because I'm like, everybody's giving me Ted Lasso stuff this Christmas. Let's see. Oh wow, shoes. What?
Not shoes,
Wait, what are these? The beans? Oh wow, these are nice.
slippers. Very very soft
Wow,
slippers.
dude, these are nice. So for people can't
go.
see this, it's a really nice moccasin like
Moccasin.
ooh, look at this. This is nice. It's like felt.
It's
Dude.
lamb, man.
It's lamb? Is that what
wool.
that is?
It's real wool. It says.
Whoa, look at these. Oh, the inside. So the inside feels like, ooh, it's just like feathery.
There you go.
Gosh, dude, thank you. I'm gonna give you a
Now
hug
you're-
after
Yeah,
the
when you're
pod.
lounging around, you can put those
Wow,
on.
these are nice. I'm gonna just wear these here. Start
Yeah,
wearing them at the
You got
lab.
big feet too, man.
Yeah.
I bought a few people some slippers this year for Christmas. Very popular gift, surprisingly.
It's awesome.
But yeah, you're on the larger side. I got you.
Thank
I
you.
got a bigger foot than you, though.
Oh, obviously.
Who's counting?
Who's counting? Dude, thank you for the shoes.
You're welcome.
Man, how was your holidays, man? Because I feel like I saw you, what was it, like Thanksgiving? Because we had our Thanksgiving thing here. And then after that, I didn't see you until New Year's
it's
Eve.
been-
So how was it? I know there's a couple life changes. We don't have to talk about that if you don't want to, but like, how was your holidays?
We've been on the grind. I've been doing a lot of travel. Like I guess about 2 to 3 years prior to this, I've been living out of one little yellow duffel bag that everyone probably knows, and I've been bouncing around Europe and South America. But the last few months, basically the last quarter, I've just been spending in Austin with the Bitcoin company team and all the good Bitcoiners down here, and just trying to get work done. But yeah, the holidays, it was interesting for me. It was a bit of a tough year, like a lot of work, but I lost my grandma, who we always spent Christmas with. I'm not not religious at all, but like, you know, it's family time is what I consider the holidays. And so we always kind of like rallied around her. And so she passed, and we didn't have anyone to kind of like congregate around. And then one of my sisters had a baby. And so like my family just didn't get together for the first time. And
Wow.
I don't know, I'm not going to dox my age, but a long time. So I kept it home in Austin, which I thought would be nice and warm, but it was freezing, man.
Yeah.
It was cold as hell over winter, but we're getting good weather now. But it was good. Heads down, grinding, man. I always feel good after a good work day. So this was the first time I've had Christmas in Texas, or really outside of Virginia, I think. So it was different, but it was good.
Yeah, that's good, man. I'm glad to see you.
I did a lot of slipper shopping online.
Yeah, I could tell.
I actually, one of the big things is I organized the house. Like,
Oh, really?
I live with Ben Carman, my co-founder, and we live like true, you know, degens. I finally got all my stuff shipped from where I was living 3 years ago, and got my bed set up, got the TV hooked up,
Wow.
got like the living room organized, as opposed to having a bunch of boxes everywhere. So that's been nice. Like going home to an actual home was cool. And I spent maybe a couple days like doing that over Christmas, which was kind of a to me, from me, love me present. But
No, dude, you need to spend time with your friends, your significant other, you know, all these people that mean a lot to you, right? Like, especially if you're not near family.
yeah, but Austin is family, man. Like the Bitcoiners here, you know, I could take or leave Austin, to be honest, but the people here is I think why everyone's here. So it's been good.
What is it like traveling and like seeing, like, did you see anything in your travels these past couple of years?
Did I see anything? Like what, man?
I don't know, just like stuff that you see, like, you know, I guess you went to, you went overseas. Like, did you see anything where you're like, man, I should incorporate that in my life, or I should be doing that? Like, what have you learned in these past couple of years of traveling?
Well, just got like a more global sense of the world. Did a lot of traveling when I was younger with the family, but never like kind of as a grown adult who could, you know, grab a beer at the bar and, you know, live on their own. But yeah, it all started, you know, I moved out of San Francisco when I left Visa and decided to kind of go full-time Bitcoin, and moved in with a friend down in Guadalajara. So Mexico is where it all started. And that's where Carman came to visit, and we started off our, the Bitcoin company. And then spent some time in Jamaica with Dredd right after that.
Nice.
Went to Miami, and I forget why we were in Miami. It was maybe a conference or something. And then a couple people were like on their way to Florianopolis, Brazil. So went down to Brazil with John Chanot and a few other good Bitcoiners. And then just like, I always told myself I would travel, and, you know, finally realized like we could do it. So I just kept it up. And so after that, I think we went to Colombia with a bunch of the team and met Atlas Hodl down there. That was nice. Stefan Livera and a bunch of good Bitcoiners were down there. And then kind of the last year or so was bouncing all around Europe. So spent a lot of time in Croatia. Was able to see the Craig Wright versus Hodlnaut case in.
Oh wow, you were there. You were there over there with Mills and what? Covering that?
I flew in. So OpenSats was a we started a legal defense fund that protects, you know, anyone contributing in the Bitcoin space against kind of lawsuits that, you know, prevent free speech and things. And so I was already in Europe, and you know, it was cringe, but like I couldn't really miss the opportunity to see Craig Wright lie on stand. And so flew in just one day for that court case and got to see him just, you know, lie out of his ass. And that was really interesting because he just went off the deep end, but was able to do that. Oslo Freedom Forum, again, kind of bounced back to Croatia. I was able to go to the Baltic Honey Badger Conference, which I heard that was highly recommend to anyone. Carmen and I have been joking that, like, you know, no more conferences, but I think that Baltic is probably up there with TabConf and probably BitBlock Boom, although I think like some of these might be pulling away from others now. But yeah, I don't even know if we're going to go to Bitcoin Miami this year. It's like a little, dude, it's so much like, and it's not even Bitcoiny anymore, in my opinion. It's like,
that's hard to hear.
I mean, it's true,
but dude, everybody's going to get FOMO. It happens every time. Yeah. Everybody does this. This is what happened last year. It was like, oh, we're not going to Miami. And then come like March, April, oh, we're going to go. And then everybody just goes like last minute.
40% off coupon.
Yeah. Like that's what happens every time.
Maybe if they send me a speaker ticket or something, I'll find my way to Miami.
Come on, CK, let's make it happen.
It's tough, man. That thing's 50,000 strong. Like, I have a fear of crowds. Like I don't want to do that. I do miss the outdoor rips of RHR, but again, I think they booked it in like the hottest time of the year in Miami. Man, I'm a big, nasty, sweaty mess when I'm in Miami in the middle of March or whatever it is, or April.
Yeah,
or May.
I think the best times were had like prior to the conference, like a few days before, and then if you stayed for like an open source day and all. Like I had the best time before the conference started.
I like that. Makes sense. Open source day after Baltic Honey Badger was great. There was like BTC Pay Server Day, and so that was fantastic. 2 years ago, there was like a big, you know, wedding on the beach with a couple Bitcoiners. That was fantastic. It happened again last year, but like the first one was hard to beat. It was very spontaneous, and then I think I met Gigi for the first time in Miami that year, and that was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely pros. Like everyone, all the Bitcoiners are there, but all the shitcoiners are there too, and that's the downside. Which is why like Baltic Honey Badger, BTC++, like
all the real ones, yeah,
the real like, especially the more technical conferences they're hard to beat.
Yeah,
because there's no noise. It's all signal.
Yeah,
Conf. I forgot that.
I think it's just a different crowd. I think it's just a different crowd.
Kind of crowd, yeah.
Yeah, I like the developer. I like hanging out with you guys. I mean, developers are just way smarter and they're just far more interesting, I find.
I think a couple of us are going to Nashville for Open Source Week in the beginning of February.
Oh, so really?
Shout out to them.
When is that happening? The first week?
I think it's like, I don't want to quote it wrong, but it's, I think maybe the first week of February. There's like a mining thing right now, but I'm so sick of mining. I don't want to talk about mining ever again.
Dude, I'm totally down to go for that.
I think, there's a few Austinites heading over there. So,
dude, count me in.
All right.
You're just going to take a drive? We're just going to go a 12-hour drive?
No, I hope not. Jeez.
Hey, man, there's some spooky towns on the way there where we could stop by.
You like Nashville, honestly.
Dude, if I wasn't in Austin, I'd be in Nashville. Personally.
We're trying to convince a couple of our friends not to move to Nashville. So, you know, Odell and P need to stop recruiting people out there.
Dude, they're doing a great job, man. Yeah. They're doing a great job. I think it makes sense, like just like those two cities. Because there's like, what is like a 2-hour plane trip It makes sense. You could live in either one and go every other week. Or
That's
whatever.
true. Yeah. When I was traveling, I mean, the reason I ended up in Austin is because when I was backpacking, like I would fly in from all over the country. I mean, I flew in from Brazil one time for Austin Bit Devs. And so I was like booking hotel rooms here, and it was basically the cost of hotels are crazy in Austin. And so I was like paying all this money. I was like, I might as well just get a place in Austin. So, and I ended up doing it, and now I guess we're here.
Yeah.
We'll see.
How's let's switch gears. How's Bitcoin Company going? I've been using it. You know, I'm a big fan of the Bitcoin
Appreciate
Company app.
You bought a bunch of people gift cards for Christmas and didn't buy them on TVC.
I'm sorry. I was hoping you guys switch them for RoboSats.
Well, in your defense, we didn't have physical cards ready for shipment yet. So,
but I was going to say though, I've been using the Bitcoin Company app. I keep seeing these like little improvements, and it's not a lot, but I feel like you guys are finally getting to the point where it's like, I'll use it one day and then I won't use it for like another week or something. But I notice there's like little small improvements. Maybe it's just me figuring out the app better or something. But there's something to be said about just like quietly building and making these small little changes that no one really notices, but they just like over time, it's just like a mound of really good improvements.
Yeah. So for context, the Bitcoin Company is a company that Ben Carmen and I started. We've got a couple other, it's a pretty small team, but we let you live on your Bitcoin. So you can download our app and buy gift cards, whether it's Uber, Airbnb, hotels.com, Amazon, or even Visa cards, which can be used like internationally. And you can buy them with Bitcoin, pay with on-chain or Lightning, and we give you Bitcoin rewards on everything. And yeah, we've kind of gotten to a pretty steady state. Like we've been building a lot of the foundational infrastructure, and now it's like we've kind of taken a breath and we can slow down. We've added a lot more brands internationally, and I think like we literally added Amazon last week. We've got a couple big new features coming out, but yeah, we have been iterating. So we had some people who don't want to spend their Bitcoin, but still want to earn Bitcoin rewards. So we just added credit cards and Apple Pay and Google Pay. And that's been kind of a nightmare, learning a lot about fraud.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, it's like learning about you hear about fraud, but until you actually experience it, like it's
just on the Apple Pay side, or like, is it
Apple
just
Pay has a ton of fraud. Yeah.
Really?
But just
can you
credit
talk
cards
about
in
it a little
general.
bit?
I mean, the high level is like credit cards are a broken system. And at any point within like 60 to 90 days of a user charging their card, they can claw back those funds by calling their bank and saying it wasn't me. And that would be, the case of like friendly fraud, when someone actually uses their card and then, gets their money back. But what we've seen is a lot of just like general, fraud, like real fraud, which is like people have stolen other people's credit card credentials, probably bought credentials online. And we're a big target because we are a gift card company. And so we offer digital goods. It's not, we're not selling t-shirts where we can just like stop shipment if someone doesn't, pay us with their credit card. But because we offer these digital goods, which can be spent right away, we are a target. So what we've really been learning is, how to kind of identify these people, the trends around,
Wow.
What is a real transaction, what's a fake transaction. But it's not fun, man. It's so much better when someone just pays with Bitcoin. The funds are there. You get better rewards. Like I urge you to,
I didn't even know this was
pay
a
in
thing.
Bitcoin, but we are trying to kind of grow a little bit. And
So
my mom wants to use her Amex or something.
So hypothetically, let's just try to be this like fraudulent person for a second.
Let's not give them too many ideas.
No, I'm just curious. I'm curious like to understand this, because just from like me being just like a normal user, right? Like, because this is stuff I didn't even realize you guys were dealing with. I just like, oh, cool. There's Apple Pay now.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I can, pay with like a debit card or whatever. Like that's cool. But you're saying people are grabbing these, inserting them into their Apple Pay, and then they'll try to do it that way?
We turned on credit card, just general purchases where you could like manually enter your card first. And that was, we did see some fraud there, but we recently turned on Apple Pay and Google Pay. And all this is actually all foundational to our next few products, which are like, a Bitcoin exchange and banking services where we do need to speak fiat. And so we're learning a lot of the, the difficult stuff now as a loyalty company before we move towards like kind of a more banking fintech. But yeah, there's a lot of fraud on Apple and Google Pay too, where presumably like someone is doing like an iPhone account takeover. I'm not exactly sure how it would work because I believe you need someone's device. There's like a device portion to, so when Apple Pay like tokenizes credentials based on the card number and device ID. But we have seen, quite a bit of fraud come through right away. But it's a learning process. Most Bitcoin companies are Bitcoin only, but I think if, our thesis is we kind of want to blend the world of banking and Bitcoin and make the transition towards a Bitcoin standard easier. And to do that, you do need, you can't just stick your head in the sand. You actually have to touch these fiat rails, whether it's ACH or wires or, in Europe, it's SEPA, and credit cards are a big piece. Like one of the easiest way to onboard someone theoretically would be, buy Bitcoin with your Visa card. And if you aren't ready for the fraud that will come through with that, then you're gonna get hit hard. So we're learning our lessons now and early, and building out our back end to handle for these things. And hopefully, when we launch our like Bitcoin buying and some of our other features that I can tease here in a bit, then we'll be ready.
Okay, so I understand all that. I think my biggest question now is, so we have some of these other bigger companies like that have been around for a while that are kind of in the same area as the Bitcoin company, but maybe a little further down the line. Do y'all all kind of talk about this behind the scenes? Like, do y'all share information as far as like how to get around that, how to first, like, like Club Lab, right? For example, like we're talking to the people like Bitcoin Park or the Commons and like sharing information about how to grow community, stuff like that. Do you guys do that too as well?
I certainly do. I would say some are better than others. I, as like a new founder, I did reach out to a lot of other founders, and some people have been so helpful, and others are kind of, a little more like, hey, you're coming in to take a piece of my pie. Like I'm not gonna put it on a platter for you. But for the most part, Bitcoin founders, I think, especially the Bitcoin only companies, we all know we're in this together. So they have been really helpful. Shout out to a couple people. Will Reeves, like he's really helped me along the way. It is there is a lot of knowledge sharing going on, but a lot of it is like there's no. There's no, not excuse, but alternative to just like jumping in and figuring it out. Really? Like, someone can tell you about fraud all day, but you're going to get hit with it still. Like, and it's an ongoing problem. Wow. Yeah, I do think there is a lot of knowledge sharing going on. And we're all kind of like taking a bite out of the same pie. The good news is the pie is huge. The pie is going to continue to grow as more and more people adopt Bitcoin, which is why I think people are so receptive and friendly. And, there's also the investor side of things, where the investors are often a lot of the connectors and the knowledge shares in the space. But founder to founder kind of communication does happen behind the scenes.
That's good.
And
that's good to hear.
Good to see.
Yeah, that's good to hear. I think there's like you said, there's so much room out there as far as like the market for this. Because I think on the fiat side, there's not really is there a place that you go for gift cards? No, right? Like,
there's tons of gift card companies in the fiat space.
I don't know of one.
Bro, just Google it. There's like, it's funny because their gift card providers are very concentrated at the top. But if you go and like Google like a gift card kind of company, they each one, whether it's Blackhawk or all these companies, like they have like it seems like 20 or 30 subsidiaries that are just white labeled gift card companies under a different name. But if you go, scroll to the bottom of the website, it's like powered by Blackhawk or powered by whatever. Yeah. And they just like do a lot of B2B sales, a lot of B2C sales. So I think, they're out there. They exist. And there's a couple that, there's more and more, Bitcoin and unfortunately some crypto companies that are, in the space as well. But it is a good little stopgap solution for people who are kind of on the Bitcoin standard to live on their Bitcoin. And then if you don't necessarily want to make a Bitcoin purchase, but you want to kind of foray into the space, then there is like economic incentive. There are margins there. So, every time you buy a gift card on the Bitcoin company app, we can give you, 5% back in Bitcoin if you buy Uber through us, as opposed to if you go straight to Uber, you're just paying what you pay. At least now you get a little bit of a bonus, you get a little bit of a discount. And times are tough right now, so we've started to see a lot of people.
Yeah.
Savings matters to a lot of people
For sure.
and
Especially when, like, the other day we went to, I mean, there's no secret. Like, I love the Texas Roadhouse.
yeah.
One of these days, I'm going to buy a Texas Roadhouse.
We got
You heard
little
it here
alerts
first.
set up, and I always see the Texas Roadhouse come through. And I'd be like, I bet you cars having a good night.
So like every weekday we've been going over there, getting some pleb steak and, like, you know, just a bunch of groupers from the lab, and we'll go over there. But dude, always bust out that Bitcoin Company app. Boom.
Do they scan the
it's
code, or
it's
do you have to
perfect.
manually enter it?
No, so like I literally will just, like, we go there, dude. It's for the plebs that are out there listening. If you want a really inexpensive meal, and still get full, there's bread, you know,
Where is Texas Roadhouse?
there's one down here, like,
Yeah.
South Austin.
Okay.
Willie Nelson owns it. That's those are facts. That's a fun fact. So we'll go, you know, you can get a steak, right? Just tell them to cook it on the grill so you get no seed oil, stuff like that. But what's interesting is,
Hot
like,
take. I'm a big seed oil fan.
hey, no judgment here, judgment free zone. So we'll go, and then, dude, I'll spend like $15. Like the other day, me and Toshie, we had like $30 and just went to the Bitcoin Company app. Bitcoin was going up. Boom, buy it. And then what's cool is the server will see you, like, do it. She's like, well, what is that? And I'm like, oh, this is the Bitcoin Company app. She's like, oh, you can do that? And I was like, yeah. And then you scan it,
Do you
and then
tip with a gift card as
you
well?
can tip as well too. So the other day I kind of over, it was like 40. So I just tipped her the rest of the 10
Nice.
right from the gift card.
Very nice. Yeah. Well, I appreciate the loyal users like you.
Dude,
I
we
gotta
do it all
some
the time. We
yeah,
do
I'll
it
come-
every week. You got to come with us one
Yeah,
time,
I'll do
because
some
you'll be
user
really surprised how, like, simple and easy that process is for just people that are like, we were going to go there anyway. But, like, you know, we get tips through Thriller Bitcoin, or we get tips through, like, Fountain or
What
whatever.
percentage back do you get at Roadhouse?
I think I had, like, on that $42 purchase, it was like 10,000 sats.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
I don't know
dude.
what percentage it is. Dude, I was looking at my rewards wallet last night, and I strongly urge everyone to withdraw their rewards from any rewards platform or exchange. But it is a company that I run, so I know I'm not going to rug myself. And
Yeah.
I just, like, kind of keep my rewards on there for testing purposes. And dude, in the last 10 months, I've made 4.6 million sats,
I believe
which is
it.
like $800 just through our app. And we're rolling out a few new ways to earn pretty soon too, which I'm excited about. So
These days, you know what I've been doing? So I'll let it, like, stack up for like a couple weeks, 3 weeks, and then I'll just use them now. Before, I would just, like, withdraw them.
Well, I've got some news for you. As our next release, we're doing auto withdrawals. So you'll be able to enter a Lightning. So you can withdraw on-chain Lightning, but what we are about to release is, you know, enter maybe your Stacker News Lightning address.
Oh,
and
boss.
every 5 minutes, any rewards that you accumulate will just be pulled out to that account, which ties really nicely into a new feature, card linked offers, we're about to roll on, which you link your credit cards or debit cards, and, you know, spend your money at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or 7-Eleven. And if you swipe your card there, we give you, you know, 5 or 10% back in Bitcoin. And that happens right away. And then if you have auto withdrawals on, it'll withdraw right away. So you can, like, link your cards once, never open the app again, and we'll just start streaming.
It's one of my, I'm not lying when I say this. It's one of my most used apps, like, on the regular, like, it's like Stacker News. I'll go to the homepage, Bitcoin Company. Like, there's very few, like, apps that I use all the time, but yours is one of them. And it's primarily because of, like, the Uber stuff.
Uber's good. That's
basically it's like the pleb version of, like, what it's what a pleb would normally need. They just need that app. And they're like, Damus is another one. Like, it's just like, there's a pleb folder, like, on your iPhone or whatever. Like, Bitcoin Company app is one.
I know
of
the
them,
folder
right?
you're talking about.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, those are the folders that I just go to all the time.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, it's an easy sell if you're using Uber, if you're using Airbnb, if you use Instacart, like,
Yeah.
get sats back. And, man, times are tough. Like,
Times are
5-10%
really
back.
tough. Yeah.
I love $800 in a year, like, for casual Uber purchases is pretty solid. And then for me, I travel internationally a lot, and I was buying the international Visa cards and kind of, like, swiping them in Croatia.
So how are those going? Like, do you find, I haven't tried one of those yet personally. Do you find more people are using those? Like,
the Visa cards are by far our biggest seller.
wow.
Probably about 75% of our volume is open loop cards or Visa cards, and a very large percentage of those are international. We have U.S. only as well, which if you're in the U.S., you get a U.S. only card. But if for people in the rest of the world, whether if you're swiping it in Brazil, or you want to download the app in Brazil, you can load up a Visa card with Bitcoin and add it to your Apple Pay or Google Pay and start using it down there. Or again, Europe, Croatia. We've got I don't want to dox him, but a really well-known founder out in Japan who. For some reason, I don't think the Apple Pay works there, but it works on Google Pay, and they bought like an Android to have it. Like he's been living there for 5 or so years and can't get a Visa card and can't like interact with a lot of the merchants out there. But our app works, so it's been really cool to see.
That's awesome. So you're saying basically, I can, if I'm going overseas, Ben, I can basically just go on the Bitcoin Company app, buy this international Visa card, and then just start using it.
Yeah.
Wow. Just through Apple Pay, just like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then. You can also use it here in the United States. And that's a good catch-all for, if we don't have Uber, if you're using Lyft, I don't think we have Lyft gift cards. Instead of not using our app, you can still buy a Visa card and pay for it that way. So that's been nice. And, we'll see how much better. We're looking for some new providers that give us a little more international coverage, because it has changed some people's lives. I think down in like Brazil and Colombia and Mexico, we've heard really good things. Again, some people in Japan and Australia. I know I was using it every day in Croatia. So a lot of these places people don't have access to. Maybe it's just banking services in general, or maybe their currency sucks and they don't want to hold their local currency. Well, you can hold Bitcoin and in real time, spin up a Visa card for your purchase, use it right away. And then, once all the merchants in the world start accepting Bitcoin, we'll have to roll off that feature, because, what's the point of a Visa card whenever you can pay in Bitcoin everywhere? But frankly speaking, not that many people accept Bitcoin these days. So you need some sort of workaround, whether it's a bank account that speaks Bitcoin, or maybe it's one of these prepaid debit cards. And so that's like, it's again, good way to live off your Bitcoin. And there's other things too. We got the phone top ups. We've got card linked offers coming, and pretty soon you'll be able to, I think, round up your credit card purchases and start stacking Bitcoin with us. So that'll be exciting.
Right, so I got the question that everybody wants to know in the room, which is basically just me. When exchange? Can you say? Is it coming?
No, Carman would kill me. The exchange is coming, and we're thinking of doing it the right way, which is like kind of a non-custodial Bitcoin exchange, where we don't hold your funds for you. You kind of give us an address and we send it there, and that'll enable us to do some really interesting privacy-focused things, which kind of like anonymize your withdrawals. But one of the big issues is, we could roll out a centralized exchange. Everyone seems to be building on top of Prime Trust, but Prime Trust has some service providers that we didn't necessarily agree with. I don't want to get too far into it, but like they don't really have a full suite of banking features. What we want is you to be able to send us Bitcoin and load up like your debit card, or load up, top up your bank account for so you can pay your rent. And you can't do that with Prime Trust or some of these other centralized providers. And then additionally, we are really going to push on the privacy side of things. So, typically you have to work with their compliance team to make sure your program fits. And, these big fintechs that, have millions of customers, they kind of cop out and do the worst of the worst. So, we're going to have to roll our own program. So it's going to take a little bit longer than we wanted, but, we can actually service quite a few jurisdictions right out of the gate as a non-custodial exchange.
Wow.
So I am excited about doing things the right way there. And,
that's bullish, man. That's bullish to hear. 'Cause it's really hard not to just take the easy road and just use Prime Trust and like just be a white label kind of thing. Right.
Yeah.
Like it's really, that's a really easy thing to do. Like, right.
We could definitely have gone that route.
Yeah. But like, it's something to be said when you're like, no, we're going to carve out this hard road, so people coming behind us won't have to do nearly as much. Right.
And there's some people who have done it. Like, shout out to River for doing things the right way. They rolled their own, the real issue is money transmitter licenses in the United States are very expensive, very time consuming to get. And so oftentimes you use a service provider that has all the licenses you need, but you kind of give up a lot of the control of your own program. And that's what most companies do, so they can roll out a program in a month. But if you want to do it the right way and build for Bitcoiners and build with privacy and all the right values that Bitcoin has, you have to kind of do it yourself, and it's much more expensive, much more time consuming. And that's the attack that the government and regulatory agencies have been putting on the Bitcoin space. And unfortunately, most people don't go do things the right way. They kind of they grab for the money, and they try and service as many people and markets as possible. And a lot of it's a testament to the fact that a lot of users don't care about their privacy. A lot of users don't care about people looking at their transaction data and what kind of information you're collecting. But at the Bitcoin company, we do care, and we don't want to build a tool that really cops out in any way, shape, or form. And yes, that means it's a little slower. And yes, that means we might not be able to service every country in the world right away. But that is our end goal. And we're hoping that building slow and steady and not caving in on our values, we're hoping, in a few years, people will actually start to realize privacy matters. Like the right morals, the right values really matter, and start to take a look at the service providers they use and see the ones with a good track record, and maybe shift that direction. So it's a low time preference move, I'd say.
Yeah, that's the thing I've noticed. I guess I don't want to call it this cycle, but like these group of founders, like that are starting these Bitcoin companies in this kind of like 2020 generation, where like a lot of I'll throw myself in there. A lot of us are doing stuff the hard way, but it's like very foundational ethos of like creating it on a really strong like ground. If you're going to keep kind of building it up, right? Yeah. It's like you could easily have taken the short path and like gotten there faster and done all that, but you're like, no, this just like this Bitcoin company is going to be around for a really long time. We need to like make sure like everything is fully
layer by layer.
Yeah,
and it's it was a tough. There's a real choice there. Like, but you accumulate tech debt, and if you start, going off in the wrong direction, then you have to redo everything one day. But it's easy to have low time preference in a bull market where money's flowing and investors are ready to invest. It really tests your will when your bank account is dwindling, and you could there's money to be made out there, but you don't want to cave on your value. So it's we'll see. I think a lot of Bitcoin only companies, that's a testament to doing things the right way. Like any of these Bitcoin only companies could be crypto companies and make 10x the money.
Absolutely. Or,
just get paid off by, I hate naming shitcoins, but I won't name any names, but these tokens that have just like printed money out of thin air, they give companies millions and millions of dollars to build on their protocols. And we've lost some good companies to some of like Satoshi Labs, was it? Or Satoshi Games? Like, there's so many companies that like could have been built on Bitcoin and just, took the money from Shitcoin X. And, so we'll see. There's been more and more Bitcoin only companies popping up. And then within that, there's like a subsect of like people really with low time preference, mindsets, and again, like it's a rough market out here. So it you start to see where people's heads are.
Yeah, that's kind of always been my thing. Like, knowing you guys for over a year and a half at this point, like a lot of the things I see, at least for me coming into Bitcoin only now, I really see that developers get very little support from the community, and I'm not calling anybody out for that. I'm just saying like, and that's always been my mission from the early days, is just like, let me help my friends. Let me help them be successful. And like, I think that's one of the biggest kind of driving forces that we do here at the lab is like, we want to make sure like they have everything they possibly could need. And if there's anything else we need to do to help them, then we'll do that. But there's something to be said. It's so easy helping developers. Like it really is really easy to help them. I mean, maybe we can't help them on the monetary side yet, but maybe in the future. OpenSats is one of them. But I
can't help them on the technical side. That's my problem.
Right. But like, there's something to be said about like a community gathering around of developers, plebs, and whoever, and supporting those startups, those Bitcoin companies from the early stage, because it's just so vital to make sure that we have, like what you're saying, like building on a solid foundation. Like, yeah,
Yeah, it's tough.
it's really tough out there.
I'm not super technical. I started my career there, but wasn't very good at it. So moved to like,
I've seen your design work. It's pretty good.
but yeah, I think that's what OpenSats is all about. There's a real free rider problem, especially in open source developer communities. Unfortunately, we've seen a lot of layoffs lately. So there's some really talented devs out there, but man, some people are doing awesome work, like giving back to devs lately. There's more incubators popping up, and luckily they're ones with morals and values and kind of focused on Bitcoin only devs. And you're starting to see, like, it takes time to build credibility in the space. And you're starting to see some Bitcoin devs really stand out and get the funding and support they need, and some companies coming in and giving back. But yeah, you're not wrong, man. That free rider problem is yet to be solved. We'll see if someone figures it out. I took my stab at it. I don't know if it really is going to work, but
Hey, that's all we can do. It's just like keep trying to push it. Right.
I will say you are a helper, Car. Like I don't know if you've ever played like the 3-word game. I'm not going to do that live on air.
What's a 3-word game?
Describe someone in 3 words. But like,
I've never played that.
Dude, you're like one of the nicest, most helpful guys around. And whether, with or without Pleb Lab, you'd be out here helping everyone. But this is just another avenue for you to do it. So respect, appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Ben. It's good to have the Bens in here every once in a while. I know you guys have to go to Commons and come here, but for me, it's just like, it's always a happy day when I see the Bens walk in. I'm like, whoa, we got the Bens.
Well, I don't know. I struggle with the co-working spaces because there's so many friends around, and sometimes I just want to go to a coffee shop with a bunch of randos and work there.
Yeah, we get pretty wild over here. But what was I going to say? Man, dude, bullish on the Bitcoin company.
What are you guys doing here? What's some Pleb Lab secrets? I want to hear.
What do you mean some secrets? We don't have any secrets.
We got CLOs coming, auto withdrawals coming.
Oh, like what are we doing
here?
A
non-custodial exchange coming. Like what do you guys have?
So like right now, dude, like anybody who's listening out there, we've been getting a lot of really good inbound as far as like our people that want to come into the accelerator. Our biggest problem right now is just like, how do we pay their way to get here and help them? We're trying to figure that out on that side. But I think what we're realizing now is there's a lot of Bitcoin companies that need help. We just don't have the means to getting them here. But I think we might
getting them here. You mean like people physically to Austin?
Yeah, but I think there's a solution that we can. There's like a half measure that we could do in the meantime that could probably work. So we're exploring that, and then like long term. There's another
Kyle pick him up in his little RV.
So long term, there's a more permanent solution that will fix all of that. And we think, and that's the thing we do here at the lab. Like we're able to figure out these problems with very little money, and our burn is very small. So like
my hunch, your permanent solution is remote Pleb Labs. You're gonna buy WeWork and you're gonna turn them all.
No, that costs too much money. No, so we're doing it like, you know how we are. Like we're scrappy enough to like we think outside the box here, and we're definitely scrappy enough where it's kind of like you. Like we're very foundational and we're very, very principled in that direction. So we know the right way about going about it. It's just like, how do you solve that problem with no money? And that to me is like way more challenging, but I accept that challenge and I like it. Like to me, that's the coolest thing is like you have money in the world and you can blow it here, blow it there. And it's just like, dude, it's like anybody could do that. But like, can you do it without money? Like you have to be some type of really, really driven individual to figure that out. And I think we've kind of cracked it. Not there yet, but I think we've cracked it. But on the accelerator side, we have like another company coming in a couple weeks. So should be good.
I can only imagine what this studio would look like if you had more than 4 foam. What are those called?
Hey man, we're doing it Pleb, man.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, this building behind us, we're going to get that building one day. It's going to be full of Bitcoin companies.
Austin Lottery Building?
Telling you, dude. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. Like that's the goal.
You
like
can subsidize it with parking.
Every day.
Dude, did you see New Year's Eve? On the front entrance.
You see New Year's Eve? We had so much parking. It was all full. No, dude, like every time I come in, before we used to be out of the Capital Factory, I would always have this like daily reminder. I don't know if you do this, but I always have this daily reminder of like, oh man, if we can just get up there, if we can just have our own office, our own floor, right? And we were able to do it. We were able to do it over here down the street. Now when I come in,
I like this place way better.
Yeah, me too. Now when I come in, I look at that building behind me. I'm like, that's what I want. I want to move in there. I want that.
I got one of those buildings.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know exactly what.
so
you
like
mean.
it's
I
like
want
that daily reminder of like, hey, like how many more people can you help if you get something like that?
We're a pretty remote global team, and we're very small, so we can't really justify office space at this point for TBC. Yeah, but I want the office above Shiner's Saloon. There's a third floor.
You're so quiet about that in the early days.
Yeah,
man.
because I don't want anybody finding out and snatching it up. But apparently it's in some like real estate limbo. Like, man, I'm gonna go start if it ever goes
Everything's
up for
in
sale,
real estate
I'm buying,
limbo around
I'm
here.
buying a lotto ticket.
You just gotta, you know what it is? Everything's in real estate limbo around here. You just gotta find the right guy to go get the deal done. That's Kyle Murphy.
No, apparently, I don't think Kyle can solve this. It's like the previous owner like sold it to a new guy, but the deed never went through. So it's in like a big court battle. Yeah, I've been following it pretty closely.
Really?
Like,
how much are they going to rent it out for?
They can't even rent it because they don't know who quote unquote owns it right now. What's funny is there's like ad space on the ground floor, and one of the guys keeps selling it. And then the other guy keeps reselling it. So they just keep posting ads over each other. That
would be a good spot. Dude. That would be like the post bit devs hangout.
Well, you can throw a rock to the Unchained office. Like you're right above Shiners. That's always cool. It's kind of like an OG Bitcoin spot. So
yeah.
That's the dream one day. You can have the Lotto building. I'll take the Shiners.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Hey man, we can talk to each other.
Yeah. Put some cups and string.
Man, dude, thanks for coming on the show, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. You're so close. We've got, I've never been asked, and I jumped on the opportunity as soon as
I know. I was like, dang, I get Ben and Tony in the same week.
When other Ben?
Oh, you think he'll do it, Carmen?
Carmen says yes to everything. That's the beauty of Ben Carmen.
Let's just talk about Ben Carmen here for a second.
Love you, Ben.
How important is Ben Carmen to Bitcoin? I think he's really, really, and I'm not joking around right now. I'm not kissing his butt, but I do think he's pretty important to Bitcoin.
The kid's a genius. He's going to listen to this. So I don't want to stroke his ego too hard. You need to keep working, Ben Carmen. Get back to work. But kid's got a really good heart. He keeps me honest every time I'm thinking about hitting more markets and using something like Prime Trust. He's like, hell no, like we're doing this the right way. So he's like good heart, good soul. He's brilliant. Like he rolled his own CoinJoin implementation. Like he's one of he understands almost, at a core foundational level, like the cryptography. He's one of the best Lightning devs I know. He builds his own side projects. He gives back to open source. He's always answering DMs and helping other people. He's got 10 little mini side projects going on. And the only thing he can't do well is front end. He's a terrible front end.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm surprised.
No, but actually he made a front end commit the other day. We're joking, Ben the full stack man. But there's a rumor going around that Ben Carmen is actually Satoshi Nakamoto. It's my favorite Satoshi theory. And the theory is Ben's a young guy, but supposedly, allegedly, he might be like a 48-year-old man. And
somebody said that.
The inventor
I heard
of
that.
Bitcoin. No, I think there's some real legs to this theory. So I'm, Joe and Clancy, if you're out there, I know you guys are big into conspiracies. I'd like you to dig into this one.
Get the Unsolved team on it.
Yeah, I think there's some potential there, but no, really, Ben was my co-founder. He can build it all. He's got good guy. I don't know.
Yeah,
it feels weird just being complimentary of someone not here who you think is going to listen to this. So, I love him. I love my team. We've been fortunate enough to hire just like a few rock stars and a few killers who can do it all. And so that's why we've been able to stay lean and, do things right. But all of it was kind of built on the backs of Ben and, shout out. There's some other good ones we could go down the list.
One of my favorite Ben stories is, it's a beautiful one actually. Me and Ben got stuck like on a layover and we were trying to look for like food in the airport. And then, so like I went through this one line and then Ben went through the other. It was just me and him. He went through the other line and like, we were like, okay, Ben, I'll go to this line. I'll try to get us some food because everything was closing down. And Ben's like, okay, I'll try to get in this line, try to get some food. So we both went in the line. I couldn't get any food. It had sold out by the time I got there. Ben was able to buy 2 egg rolls.
Let's go.
And then, so like we went back and I was like, sorry, Ben, I couldn't get anything. There's nothing there. He's like, you can have one of these, Car. And he gave me like his other egg roll. Since then, he's had my heart.
Classic Ben.
Since then, he's had my
Ben
heart.
Carman always shares his egg rolls.
Yeah. What a great guy.
Love you, Ben. Get back to work.